What's up, guys? My girlfriend, Luntine, she's with us today. She has no idea what the video's about. She just woke up, so she has no idea even what happened. Um, that's kind of the point of this video. But as you guys may have read, I predicted this. And I also predicted 4 out of 4 fights on this channel. Links above here, so if you guys want to check those videos out, check them out. And if you guys like this type of content, martial arts content, controversial content, security content, bouncer content, I'm a bouncer, martial artist, professional bouncer, etc. Now, enough with the self-promotion. Let's get into this video, okay? Now, you remember not long ago, I was talking about Andrew Tate, and we saw that video where he said that he would not commit suicide ever. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then we had a discussion, right? And I should have made a video on this earlier, but I didn't. And then we had a discussion about it, and then I said that I predict these things may happen. You remember what things those were that I said might happen to him? Because he said he's not gonna kill himself. So I told you, right? They're not gonna make it look like a suicide if they do something to him. So what they are gonna do probably to him, the Matrix or whatever, is what? You remember?
Yeah, like a plane crash.
A plane crash was the first one I said. Why? Because like I've been around, guys. I lived in 3 countries. I lived in Mexico, lived in LA, lived here in Holland, and I've been around. My dad was a pilot, so I've been all over the fucking place, and I've seen many things. And like that singer, her plane went down. What's her name again? Aliyah or something? Aliyah.
Elijah.
She went down and in an airplane crash. I know of a politician also that was opening up his mouth too much in Mexico. They also crashed his plane. But that was one thing, and the other thing that I said was what?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Come on, man, think.
No, I don't remember. We had a big discussion. I remember that.
Okay.
That they will kill him.
Yeah, that they would
And
kill him, make it look a suicide.
Yeah.
That's off the charts because she already said he would never kill himself. So then now they can't do that anymore. The plane crash was the second thing, but think deep. What was the third thing that I said? The only other thing that they could do to him.
I don't know.
Okay, well, she doesn't remember. I was really hoping she would, but I guess she doesn't. Uh, Andrew Tate was arrested for organized crime and starting an organized crime group. And he was arrested for human trafficking. He was already arrested once before, guys. So now we're really getting to the video for those of you that don't know what happened yet. Okay? Andrew Tate and his brother were arrested along with 2 other suspects at their Romanian residence. Allegedly, the police knew they were there because he made some kind of live video with some kind of activist by the name of Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, yeah. And there was some kind of pizza boxes, and that's how they knew that he was at that moment in Romania. They went and got him. I don't know if this is true or not, but the allegations are rape, human trafficking, and starting an organized crime group with the intent to make or making adult videos or forcing women to do adult videos that would later be put on platforms like OnlyFans and things like that. So these are the allegations. What's interesting is that do you remember now that I said this?
Yeah, I do.
How do you forget, man? Making me look bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, I did say that. I said that the plane would crash, or that they would. These are the only 2 things I said. That the plane would either crash, or that they would arrest him for something and make up some charges. Not necessarily make up some charges. We don't know yet if they're made up or not. I'm just assuming. I'm not sure yet. And the reason why I'm assuming they might be made up is because he was arrested before this already in April. So this is the second time this year that he's been arrested. And keep in mind also, another suspicious thing is this, right? Like he was arrested this year twice now. Before the end of the year they got him, before New Year's party, which is kind of effed up. I don't know if he'll be released because they're saying he'll be released in 24 hours. That they're just holding him for questioning. No charges have been brought yet, which is also suspicious. You would think that if they got him, there was some kind of charges on him already, but no. They're only asking him questions and holding him for 24 hours for questioning. Now, yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a lot of things in common with Andrew Tate. I've said this before, right? I feel like we have a lot of things in common, but other things we don't. One of the differences between me and Andrew Tate is he grew up poor, I grew up rich. He is rich as hell now, and I may not be rich at the moment, but I'm trying to work my way up there again, right? But that's besides the point. Like, I feel like I have a lot of things in common with him. Like, for example, a lot of the points he brings up, a lot of things he says. I'm not gonna get into details now. What things I agree with him with, but one of them, for example, is that Brazilian jiu-jitsu doesn't work in the street. He recently said that. There's many other things that I wanted to talk about on videos, making videos about him, but I was gonna wait until next year. This happened. I saw it on the news. Went to the gym. Still went to the gym before I made this video, and then I figured I gotta just start making videos now. Um, but the point is, let me see. Let me see. I lost what I was trying to say about having a certain things in common with him. Like, I've been arrested a lot of times too. That's what I was getting at. I've been arrested over 20 times in 3 different countries. Okay, and I've seen other people get arrested. So we don't know if the charges are legit yet, if he did anything yet, because they haven't really brought charges on him yet. They're only accusing him and questioning him. But that said, I'm not happy about this, even though there's other YouTubers that I've seen that are like happy and like cheering this thing up. Maybe some of them haven't been arrested yet, but I've been arrested. I know what it's like to sit in a Mexican jail, to sit in a LA jail, and to sit in a jail here in the Netherlands. And I was cleared of all charges every time, guys. I was never convicted for anything. Nothing. You know, she was with me many times when I got arrested. So, for example, one time my ex-boss got me arrested. So I know that when people have a grudge out for you, sometimes if they have connections, they will get you arrested. Which will take me to this point. You probably didn't see this video, but Andrew Tate not long ago was talking about how he doesn't feel safe in America. You remember this? How in America, he doesn't feel like he has genuine power and influence on the streets. Like, he doesn't feel like he can walk around like, yeah, I'm top G, I'm the man. Because in America, at the end of the day, the cops call the shots. If the cops pull you over, you get a ticket. If they want to put false charges on you, take you to jail, they can do that. So he basically said that he doesn't want to live in a country where corruption is not on his side, where he doesn't get the opportunity to be corrupt. Basically saying that in Romania, he does have the opportunities to be corrupt. Now, does this have anything to do with why he got arrested? He's in Romania. I don't think the Romanian government appreciates him talking like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's basically calling the country corrupt. Now that maybe that's the reason why they're like, yeah, well, what's up with this guy? Let's go get him. You know, he's calling us corrupt. Let's put charges on him or something. I don't know. It could be because of that. It could be the Matrix, of course, or the billionaires of all of these kinds of things behind it as well. Because a lot of people don't know the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. Like, the level is so extreme. I cannot think of the numbers in my head right now, like time wise, but a million seconds is something among days, like a week or 10 days or 2 weeks. I don't know, less than a month. But a billion seconds is like over 30 years. So just so you guys get an idea, the difference between millionaire and billionaire, it's like, and by Andrew Tate's own statements, he says that Putin doesn't like him. He claims that a lot of people in power don't like him. I don't know if this is true or not, you know, but he was talking about he was checking it with Steven Seagal, and Steven Seagal was going to call Putin, and he didn't want him to call Putin. Like, don't call him, don't bother him, they already hate me. So if he has all these people hating him, and he's living in a country where he benefits from corruption, that can be a good thing in a way for certain people, but the coin could be tossed the other way like that. That's what a lot of people don't realize, you know? Like, the probabilities of you getting false charges on you in a country like Romania, or like where I'm from, like Mexico, you can get arrested just because somebody wants you arrested, even if you're not supposed to be arrested. Like, I was arrested once. I'm not gonna get into the story once, but I was arrested once in an illegal way by about 15 to 20 police officers because my dad wanted me arrested. It was like, I shouldn't even have been arrested. I was released immediately, not long after I was busted. But I had done nothing wrong. Okay, so that can happen in countries that are corrupt. People get jailed for things they didn't do. So, you know, so yeah, Andrew Tate saying these things, you know, living in a country that's corrupt, where I can benefit from such corruption. Why would I live in America where, you know, you can get shot by a cop? He also talked about how one day he was in America and he was chilling outside, and he ordered a Uber. And Uber rolled up, and he actually thought he was gonna get shot, because the way the Uber rolled up, it didn't look like a taxi to him at that moment. The way it rolled up, the way he put the window down, and the way he was moving, he thought he was gonna get shot. And then the guy asked him, you know, something. I guess if he was the right or whatever. Then he got in the car. But the point is, he's like, why do I want to sit through that? Why do I want to live in a country where I have to go through that panic? If I'm in Romania or here, that doesn't happen. People don't just get shot like that, in that way for no reason.
Mhm.
Like in America, you can get shot just because someone thinks you're from some street gang. Like they'll kill you. Then they don't care about doing live for 20 years. It's a different thing in America, and there's so many things that can kill you in America. So he talks about that, how Romania is corrupt, and I don't know enough about Romania to get into that topic. But if it's even a fraction of as corrupt as Mexico, I mean, Mexico, there's more innocent people in jail than guilty people. Like over 99% of jailed people in Mexico are innocent. Just go figure, okay? Okay, so yeah, I predicted this basically, although I didn't make a video on it. But yeah, I should have. Um, Okay, hold on, guys. Let me just get through this. So the brother was also arrested along with two other suspects. They're held for questioning, and of course, everyone is calling him the extreme rightist, misogynistic. The misogynistic influencer, far right person was arrested. All these articles are saying this. They even mentioned something about him being kicked out of Big Brother at some point because he had beaten up some girl or something like that, and then the girl later had came and said that it was consensual. I don't know. I don't know if it was a freaky thing. I don't know the details on that. But all these other things are coming up in these articles about him that kind of have sort of nothing to do with this. They're just really making him look bad. And one of the things Andrew Tate said in an interview in the past, not a recent interview, he said that he's a good person and that they're just trying to make him look bad, and that you know that he's a good person because they're trying to make him look bad. Is this all true or not? Guys, only time will tell. Only time will tell. And, one of these YouTubers was saying that one of the reasons that he was arrested is because he doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Basically, that Tate doesn't know how to, like, stop being flashy and doesn't know how to shut up, basically. So he's saying, like, how can you shut up if you're a talker, if you're an influencer, if you're someone who's influencing people? What you do is talk, right? But in a way, I'd have to say he's right in the sense that people get jealous, man. People get envious. Um, Andrew Tate, in a way, is similar to this to this guy in Mexico. I mean, similar in the sense that this guy got arrested also because of not necessarily because of the bad things he did, because this guy's an actual bad guy. I would not compare him with Andrew Tate, but Chino Antrax. He was like the first narco Mexican that was putting himself out on social media. He was like pretty famous in Mexico, dating Paris Hilton and people like this. And allegedly he went down because of his the attention he was getting. He caused a lot of envy among people. And come on, man. I mean, most people nowadays want to be Andrew Tate. You got a lot of guys that want to be like him. So yeah, there's a lot of envy there. People envy him. I mean, why wouldn't people envy him? He's got everything right now. He's at the peak in his age. He's at the peak with his money at the moment. He's the most famous person, the most Googled person on the internet. And this hyper masculine and calling it whatever, toxic masculinity and all that is one of the reasons why they're I think they're bringing them down. The charges could be true or not. I don't know. I don't know Andrew Tate. I'm not making this video necessarily defending Andrew Tate. It's not an anti Andrew Tate video, but it's also not a pro Andrew Tate video because I honestly don't know if the charges are genuine or real or not. But it just seems to me that if he was really involved in these kind of things, it would just not be very smart to like still be out there making videos, talking, and even saying how he made his money with women and the whole OnlyFans things and having these women in his house that he made money on the internet this way. This is kind of how he made his millions. But why would you say all these things if you were hiding something? It just wouldn't seem very smart to me. Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think Andrew Tate, like, he's never really been this rich before, so he's not used to it. In my opinion, he's like a new rich, and he'll say it himself. Like, I'm not a rich guy. I'm a guy who was poor and became rich. It's not like he tries to deny this. But what I'm getting at is many times when people grow up poor and then they get rich, a lot of times they don't know how to handle it. It can get to their head. I'm not saying it got into Andrew's head. What I'm saying is maybe there's certain things he shouldn't have said, like the whole corruption thing. I mean, he's right. I mean, this is the reason why my dad didn't want to live in America. I mean, my dad had a visa. I lived in America. My brother lived in America. My mom divorced him. You know, eventually we ended up in the States. But my dad never chose to move there. He stayed in Mexico. You know, and I asked him once, you know, like, why? Why don't you come to the States? You know, I was very young when I asked him. He's like, in the States, me being a brown man in the States whose English is like this, you know what's gonna happen to me if I'm driving down the street? How many times I'll get pulled over? You think I want to deal with that? My broken English, driving a car with American license plates, and yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Getting a ticket here and there, maybe getting shot. If I get pulled over here in Mexico, you know, I'll just maybe sort of relatively tell them who I am. I'm a pilot. I'm an ex-military. And here's $5. Go buy yourself a taco and a soda and go fuck yourself. Like, this is the reason why my dad lived in Mexico. That and the fact that everything is cheaper, and that, you know, obviously corruption is on his side in Mexico. Also because, I mean, my dad was a different story. He was in the Air Force. All of his good friends were army generals, part of a thing called the syndicate. You guys can research this. I'm not gonna get into that now. But my dad, you know, would get away with almost anything in Mexico. You know, not that he needed to, because he was not like a criminal. He was a normal person. He was a pilot, but still, it's like he had the corruption on his side. And he would also tell me, I'm much better off going to America as a pilot, as a tourist. Rent a car. The cops see it's a rental. When they pull me over, immediately they already know I'm a tourist. You know, I can show them my Aeromexico ID and my what do you call it, and my visa, whatever, and then they're already like, okay, this person's here legally. He's a tourist. He's not like an illegal beaner, whatever you want to call it, because a lot of people see it like that in the States, you know. And he's like, I don't want to be driving around like an illegal beaner when I'm not. I'd much rather, you know, rent a car, stay near the airport, stay near the hotels where the cops know there's airline personnel here, and I have a much chiller time. I can even wear my uniform or half of the uniform if I want, so people see my affiliation. But that's a different story, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what I'm getting at is like, he should have just not messed with the government in Romania. Like, he should not have said these things. I think, like, in my opinion, this is just a theory of mine, guys. But the theory of mine is that somehow or another, I think the Romanian government didn't appreciate what he was saying, regardless of if this is true or not. Because, like, think about it. If the allegations are true, they probably knew but didn't do nothing about it. And that's what Andrew Tate was talking about with the corruption, right? I mean, if the corruption's on his side, then he could technically, like, do the things that they're saying and get away with it until he pisses them off and giving them a reason to go get him, and they go get him. These are just theories, okay, guys? I'm not saying it's like this, but like, I even told her, like, when I said, I don't even think it's gonna take that long before something happens to him, and I said that not long ago after he made that video. What did I say? A month, 2 months, 3 months at best. I said, right, maximum. I gave it. I gave a maximum of 3 months, and I think I said this like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you know,
About 2 weeks ago, you mentioned it.
yeah, about 2 weeks ago, it's when I mentioned it. But I've been so busy with many things. I'm training all the time. I'm going to the gym 3 times a day. I applied for a whole bunch of different jobs where it requires you to be really, really fit. So I've been really busy. I'm redecorating here because I'm gonna put my grandfather's police plates here. Where did I put them? You know. And some Mexican decorations, some things that I have here that I'm gonna put in the back over here, you know, and I'm still not done with that yet, guys. But yeah, did I miss anything? Anything you want to add? I mean, I'm not done with the video yet, but anything you want to add?
No, not that I can think of. I'm surprised.
The price of what?
I didn't expect that.
This soon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I expected it, but I mean, at least a month. I'd say between a month and 3 months. But yeah, I think they wanted to end the year this way. I mean, it's just another theory, guys. It's just a bunch of theories. But you know, he got arrested in April. Then he got famous this year. He got arrested this year twice, and he's put away before the end of the year. Now he might be released in 24 hours after questioning, and you know, yeah. The question is, what will they do after that? Like, if he actually gets released, what will they do after that? You know, who knows? You know, if they will try to go after him again if he gets arrested again, or if the airplane theory comes through. You know, he does fly private, and they do have a tendency of like putting down planes that are private. Many, you know, so if I were him, I'd start flying commercial, dude. It's safer. Really though, like I'd be flying. I don't know, man. If I were him, honestly, Andrew Tate, if you watch this, homie, start start flying commercially, bro. Stop this whole private jet thing, cause you never know when they might put your jet down and say there's something wrong with the jet. You never know if someone else is in there and they might skydive out of the plane and leave you in there. Who knows, man? You know, so many things can go south, and they could just make up something if they do, of course, take it that far. But in my opinion, dude, he should just try to fly. And not necessarily that the governments would do this. It could be anyone. I mean, you know how many people are after him? All these women are pissed at him. He's got like groups and groups of feminists that are angry at him for the things that he says, the way he speaks out. So I mean, so many people will go after him. He himself, he said that he's got a lot of death threats, and he gets them every day. Both of them get death threats like on a daily basis, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's it's a hard life he chose with this kind of fame. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you could be famous for other reasons and not take this kind of heat. You know, just be more politically correct or whatever else not. But you know, the way he got famous, it's like, and the way he's speaking out, it really takes a lot of yeah. You could call it, you gotta be crazy to do that, or you could call it that he has a lot of balls for speaking up the way he does, regardless if what he says is true or not. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I agree with him on, but there's also many things that I don't agree with him on. And I've said this to her. I will make more videos in this in the future. But I mean, there's definitely some things he said that, in my opinion, based on my life experience and me traveling since I was little, there's many things he says that are just factually incorrect. You know what I mean? Like one of the things he says, for example, he says that people who grow up having everything that they want, like people who basically grow up rich, that they're not happy when they're old, when they get older, because they don't appreciate. The happiest people are people that that had everything when they grew up, and this is just not always true. It could be true sometimes, but he's basically making it seem that only new rich people can be happy, and old rich people can't be happy. It's like, have you looked at Donald Trump? Does he look like an unhappy person to you? I mean, I'm just saying, I've never seen that guy seem unhappy. Even if you can call him a narcissist or confident or whatever you want to call it, Trump, he's someone who comes from old money. I mean, and I can give many examples from Mexico, from people like Carlos Slim's kids. I used to VIP them with the security in Mexico's most famous club. They're not unhappy, man. I'm telling you, they're not unhappy people at all, dude. I mean, that's just factually incorrect. There's things he says that I get why he would think that, but that's in part because he's a new rich, and he's not used to it. Other things among what he should do. There's many other things that I could talk about Andrew Tate, but this will be for future videos. I'm gonna talk about if he could have been a good taekwondo fighter. I'm gonna talk about how he would have done if he would have been here in Holland and kickbox here in Holland. About his kickboxing skill, his kicking skill. I'm gonna get into those details about him, and there's a few other things he said that I just don't agree with. There's a benefit to growing up with money. For example, for me, because I always grew up with money as a kid. Now, my dad was not by any means super rich, but I mean, come on. I mean, in the schools we were in, private schools, we would travel more even than kids that were richer than us, because my dad was a pilot. So the lifestyle we had of always traveling, hotels, we could get whatever we wanted, eat whatever we wanted, dress however we wanted. My dad had multiple cars. Back in the days when Mexico, just having one car was a big luxury. Now a lot of people have cars, but back in those days, in the 80s, you only had a car if you were rich. Back in those days in Mexico, it was different. But what I'm getting at is, my dad brought me up in a way that he didn't want me to do martial arts. He didn't want me to be as physical as I am. He wanted me to grow up and become a doctor, a pilot, or a lawyer, or something, like some educated thing like this. And I always hated school. It was never really my thing. But he always emphasized, like, you gotta make money, you gotta make money, you gotta make money. Like, always putting it in my head that I gotta make money, when it's like I grew up with money all my whole life. I didn't even know what a hunger felt like until I was hungry for my first time when I was 6. So it's like, money, I never cared about money. Like, I always emphasized more on what I like doing over money. Like, I never looked at my martial arts training like, I have to do this because like Andrew Tate, for example, he went into martial arts a bit late. He was already a teenager, I think, or a young adult, and then they decided, okay, we're gonna do this, fight, make money. Like, they went in with that mentality. And he himself says he hates training. He hated it back then. He did it anyways. He hated fighting. He hated everything that leads up to a fight. He hates training now, but still does it. And this is the difference between Andrew Tate and me. I love it. Like, I like training and kicking and fighting as much as women, or maybe even more at times, depending on my mood, guys. But like, I prefer training over eating. The hard part for me is to not train, to take a rest day, which was yesterday, a rest day. I mean, she knows how I am. I'm very extreme with my training. Like, I've only been back in the gym 2 weeks, and if you guys look at my arms, look at this. Like, this is just 2 weeks training. You know, I've gone to the gym like 20 times or 25 times in 2 weeks, more or less. I go multiple times a day. So, I'm very happy doing what I love, which is like training and martial arts and fighting. You know, I've been a bouncer for many years, and I love the adrenaline of fighting. Like, I genuinely love to fight. I genuinely love to kick. Like, I like it more than food and women at times. Like, it's right up there for me. Food, training, women. It's like you know. I don't train because I hate it. I train because I love it. And if I had not grown up rich, with everything, I don't think I would have had the freedom to only focus on my passion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I would have been too focused on money or making money, or I would have had to sacrifice the training. Like, I was always at the dojo growing up, you know? So this is the difference between like Andrew Tate and me, is that, you know, like, I grew up rich and right now I'm not rich. He grew up poor, right now he's rich. I mean, but we're both martial artists. We both say what we think. We're both confident. We've both traveled the world, even though he did it late. I've been doing it all my life since I was really little. Just traveled less now. This last year, 2-3 years, I've traveled a lot less. Like, I haven't almost traveled much, just a few times to Mexico here and there. And he's been all over the world the last 2-3 years, which is, you know, these little things are like the little differences. He chose to go into a kickboxing career and become a champion and all that. You know, I chose the more traditional martial arts, and I did MMA. And then I got into like the whole bouncing thing, which is really fighting. And that's another thing that I agree with Andrew Tate on. He talks about in a video how violence happens like that. Jiu-jitsu doesn't work. How you can be in a club and everything is peaceful, and next thing you know, all hell breaks loose in like a second or two. That's my reality. That's my job, being in the middle of that type of chaos and trying to spot it before it happens. So I mean, we have a lot in common the way we think, but there's also things that, like I said before, that I disagree on, and I will make videos of this in the future. The things I agree with him on, the things I don't agree with him on, and even though I do think that over 90% of the things he says he's right about, there's a 10% that with things that he's not. But you know, yeah, in a sense, it's like he still needs more experience being a rich person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm not talking as, he just needs more experience. So, like, for example, a social etiquette class would not be a bad idea. And I wasn't going to mention this, but if you see him eat, for example, he moves a little fast. He will he will talk with his mouth full and these kind of things. Like, little things that when you grow up as an old rich person, you learn this early on when you're a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, how to come off more classy, not like trashy, you know? These are things that he could work on if he wants to. If he doesn't, then don't, you know? It's like, you know, you will learn things also about, like, things about dressing, like rules about eating, rules about dressing, social etiquette, you know? You basically learn how to be a person with class, I guess that's the way I could say it. But then the beautiful thing about knowing all these rules is, if you want to break them yourself, but you know the rules, you can do it. And then you do it with a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, with a little bit more class. Like, it kind of shows when you break the rules, but you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shows. Like, when I know somebody knows these things, like, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh, that guy knows the rules, but he breaks them. It's a little bit more respectable than you walking around not knowing social etiquette rules.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just my opinion. Everybody can improve, you know, even Andrew Tate, myself, everybody can definitely improve, you know. But yeah, anything you want to add? I already asked that before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, if you have any questions, any suggestions on the specific videos you want me to make on Andrew Tate, just let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that'll be it for this video, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, and I'll update you guys, you know, if I hear anything new on this case.
I'm curious because I don't know the laws. over there?
I don't know the laws either. I haven't had any time to look it up, guys. Like literally, I found this out 5 hours ago. It's 9:30 in the morning. At like 5 o'clock in the morning, I saw the first videos come up on YouTube that he was arrested again. First, I thought it was the old arrest, and I thought like, damn, it's a new arrest. Okay,
Well, if the laws are a little bit like here in Holland, they can prolong the.
they can prolong it, right? But as far as I read, it's 24 hours. They can hold them for questioning. If they cannot come up with some evidence before that, I think they're gonna release him, and then we're gonna know more. But neither would surprise me, guys. It wouldn't surprise me if he stays there, if he gets released. It would not even surprise me if something bad happens to him while he's in there. That's another thing that people are not probably not thinking about. I mean, bad things happen in prisons, jails, whatever. I mean, you're at their mercy there. The other criminals, the police. I don't know if they're gonna put him in the general public or if they're only holding him for questioning. But at that point, like, they're the police. They can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, he's in a tough spot right now, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Seriously, jail is not a place to be at, guys. It's I've been in, like I said, I've been in jail in 3 countries already. Uh, mostly false allegations, false charges, because this is why I was released. It was either self defense or false charges. But everything you want to add?
No.
Okay, then. All right, guys. That'll be it for this video. To the next video. Catch you later.
Catch you later.